And legal analyst Carrie Cordero and Shanlon Wu join our conversation. The stress among the Democrats is 2 articles of impeachment, all about Ukraine, or add a third, add a fourth to bring in Mueller stuff. Do you read anything into that? Do you take a clue from where she does note that, in her view, this is part of a pattern, President inviting election interference help?
It is. I tend to think that they should include something from the Mueller investigation. There were perhaps up to 10 potential acts of obstruction detailed in the Mueller report. They could take the 4 or 5 strongest of those and include them, and that would go some distance in addressing one of the, what I think were complaints of Professor Turley yesterday in the hearing, which is that there's not been an insufficient record. Nobody can dispute the extensive record that was compiled throughout the course of the Mueller investigation. So that would be one way to edge off part of that complaint a little bit if they broadened it somewhat.
But she will settle this based on political math. It's not really a legal argument. Impeachment's not. Impeachment is more of a political process. But the chairman of the committee yesterday also seemed to express the view, at least during the hearing, that this is not just about Ukraine.
President Trump welcomed foreign interference in the 2016 election. He demanded it for the 2020 election. In both cases, he got caught. And in both cases, he did everything in his power to prevent the American people from learning the truth about his conduct.
If you're advising them behind closed doors, should you include 2016, inviting Russia to hack the emails, the obstruction in the Mueller report, or do you say, you know what, let's not confuse people. Let's keep this very tight, 1 or 2 charges, boom.
Yeah, I agree with Kerry. I think they should go a little bit wider. Prosecutors are very risk averse. If it was a criminal prosecution, you go very narrow. You want very few charges, the strongest evidence possible, because you're afraid of the domino effect if you present one weak charge. But here, I think it makes sense for them to go a bit broader. And also, the Mueller report is extensively documented, and so it was kind of laid out for them to do that, although Mueller was a little too timid to actually say that to them.
And you mentioned Jonathan Turley. He was the one Republican witness at the hearing yesterday, and he said the president's call was far from perfect. He did not say the president did nothing wrong here, but to your point, he said, why stop now? You want more witnesses, you should fight this out in the courts.
The abbreviated period of this investigation, which is problematic and puzzling. This is a facially incomplete and inadequate record in order to impeach a president. We have a record of conflicts, defenses that have not been fully considered, unsubpoenaed witness with material evidence. To impeach a president on this record would expose every future president to the same type of inchoate impeachment.
You believe that?
No, I with all due respect to Turley's credentials, I thought his analysis was very weak yesterday. This idea, I mean, he's kind of ambivalent, like he says, we should wait for the courts to weigh in, which of course timetable-wise is sort of an impossibility. And yet he also seemed to walk that back to say, no, Congress has the sole power of impeachment. Similarly, his comments about the public opinion. I mean, the last time I checked, the framers didn't have public opinion polls.
Right.
Well, and I would just add as well, I didn't find it puzzling at all in terms of the reason why a more expansive record hasn't been established. The irony, and where I disagree with Professor Turley's analysis on that, is the fact that the reason that there is not more of an extensive record of documents and witnesses is precisely because of the obstructive acts on the part of the president by preventing documents from being disclosed and preventing witnesses from appearing.
Which then, of course, could lead to the creation of an article of impeachment in and of itself. So it's sort of a cycle that we're in here.
It's a key point. If Democrats had not asked for those witnesses, he would have a stronger point, as opposed to we've asked for them, we've actually issued subpoenas in several cases, and the administration says go away. Another big thing that's going to happen on Monday is the release of the long-awaited Inspector General's report at the Department of Justice, looking into the seeds, if you will, of the Russia investigation, which ultimately became the Mueller investigation, but at first was an FBI counterintelligence investigation. And there is more and more evidence that the president is not going to get what he wants. He wants a report that says the FBI spied on me, the FBI was out to get me, the deep state was after me. This is from CNN reporting. Michael Horowitz, the Justice Department Inspector General, consulted U.S. intelligence agencies as well as John Durham, the prosecutor conducting a broad investigation into the intelligence used to start the Russia investigation, to ask whether they could provide any evidence to back up the spy claim. Durham and the intelligence agencies responded they couldn't provide any such evidence. This is the president wants this report to be his impeachment distraction. The deep state spied on me. The FBI spied on me. They failed there. That's why they're trying to impeach me. That's why he wants to connect the dots there. This sounds like, God forbid, that the case for facts is going to be made by the Trump Justice Department.
And if that holds up, it's a double whammy for the president, because not only does he want the IG report to be a distraction next week, he and Barr and others keep pointing toward the Durham investigation and say, just even wait to see what happens there. But this suggests that Durham, with an investigation that has had a really broad reach, he's been traveling all over the world, interviewing officials in all kinds of countries, may ultimately not give the president what he wants either.
And where does that put the Attorney General, who in his own confirmation hearing made clear he believed there was spying? Does he say, I accept the opinion of these two very well qualified people who work for me, and one of whom he appointed to do this investigation? Or what happens then?
Well, it puts him in a difficult position because he did really go out on a limb, and I viewed it as inappropriate at the time for him to confirm that there was quote unquote spying on the campaign. Look, I've never seen an Inspector General report come out that doesn't find something that went wrong. There will be things in this Inspector General report that look bad, that were perhaps individual instances of things that were either done wrong or should have been done better. That is guaranteed. What it doesn't sound like there is any evidence that the report is going to demonstrate systematic abuse of the system. And I think that's going to be the important takeaway.
Monday, we'll be here. You guys should come back in. It's going to be an interesting day.